happy to see the crowd here. I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes with the audience here talking about Epic blockchain technologies, how the industry is evolving, how the hardware companies need to adapt. And for us, it's an interesting journey. I'll walk through how we've built our organization and how we're going to grow and how I think we have a lot of tailwinds. I did not anticipate following after a filmmaker, but I hope you find this interesting. So Epic as a company, I would describe ourselves as very engineering centric. We solve problems, we engage with customers, we listen to what their pain points are, and we kind of go from there. Those pain points could be economic pain points, those could be technical pain points, but we really go at it with the same kind of mindset, which is the problem solving. And any engineer in here, in this audience, will recognize, the whole discipline of problem solving, which is, understanding the what, the who, the why, the when, and the how, etc. And we take that same discipline with our approach to the products that we build and how we try to add value to our clients. And a little bit about myself. I come from a semiconductor background. I think there are players in this ecosystem that may come also from the semiconductor background, but I think you'll see a lot more of those innovative domain experts entering into the space, and I think it's great as the industry matures. So I apologize if this is a busy slide, but again, taking the discipline of problem solving, really the opportunities in the market will really, and the market trends really will define how you build your products and how you respond to your customers. So on the left on this chart, it's just data that's publicly available. If you see the upper left chart, you see that the 7-day moving average for the network hash for Bitcoin is around 390 exahash. If you look at the bottom left on this chart, it's actually also publicly available data. It's actually published by the Cambridge Bitcoin Energy Index, where they've actually estimated or tried to model how much energy is being used to mine Bitcoin. And when this snapshot was taken, it was around 16.3 gigawatts. And if you just do the math, nominally, the midpoint right now for all the hardware that's out there, believe it or not, is still pretty high. It says it's here, the math just says it's 42 joules per terahash. And everybody that's out there looking at new miners naturally are trying to push further and further down that stack. There's arguments of whether the Cambridge numbers are on the high side, plus or minus, but even if you use it on the low side, that the 42 joules as a midpoint might be, let's say, 40, might be, let's say, around 38, but there is a pressure point to actually drive for more innovative hardware. And then on the upper right, again, it's also something that I think people track and don't realize how fast the industry is moving, is the fact that the network hash rate will hit 1 zettahash. It's not going to be that far away. And again, if you do the math, if you use that as your North Star, 1 zettahash, and you use a nominal miner of around 140 terahash, you just divide it out, that's more than 7 million miners that are out there plugged in, mining and churning away. And that's probably actually deployed over a 2 or 3 year period, because that's typically how long a miner will last. And if you use that reality of 7 million miners that are out there, you use the reality is that the joules per terahash is still on the high side. What does it really tell you? It really tells you that you need more innovation and more scale in this industry. And for us, as a new player in the Bitcoin mining space, that's been the feedback to us, is that whatever you're doing at Epic, be it the control boards, be it the firmware, be it the full system, please go at it, and please go at it at a faster rate. This slide is kind of interesting for any of the engineers here. The previous slide kind of speaks to the why there needs to be more innovation, and the when, which is really now and really in the last 12 months as we see that pressure on us to innovate. This slide really speaks to what is inside an ASIC miner. A lot of times people think it's just a chip and a PCB, a power supply. You plug it in and you can hash. But the reality is in these 4 quadrants, you actually see a layer of complexity in each of these quadrants, be it the software and the firmware on the upper right, be it the actual full system design, be it on the bottom right, whether it's actually the chip design, on the bottom left, whether it's the silicon technology. A lot of times there's an interest in the silicon technology, 7 to 5 to 3, but I'll tell you that that is interesting and it is necessary, but really the complexity is probably in the upper right and the upper left in terms of bringing everything together. And then on the SoC design side of things, people always think of logic design as pretty simple, straightforward. You synthesize it, you crank it out, you build the mask. But the reality is to get the performance, to get the power, you really need to start innovating at the design level. So all those 4 elements in this quadrant design really speaks to the what is needed in ASIC hardware. So the people who understand all 4 of them are the ones that I think can prevail. And then these blue circles really speak to the fact that the boundaries are not black and white. They are actually, they overlap. There's control protocols between the firmware and the power supply. There's the optimization of the chip with the system. There's the optimization between the process modeling and what the silicon offer. And then all the telemetry that is needed, which is actually really growing very quickly in terms of the needs of our clients. This slide now kind of speaks to who we are. I think I listened to some of the other speakers. They talk about their history at the very beginning. We actually talk about our history as part of our journey, and that's actually why people are pushing us to go faster and further. On the y-axis, it's the very simple crawl, walk, run, which is the strategy of building up your capabilities and executing. Kind of the x-axis is over time, what we've really done over the last 3 years, where we've actually focused on building all the different components needed to get to the upper right, where right now we are actually have delivered on our 1st generation Bitcoin miner built here in North America with some really smart engineers. And now we're about to roll out our 2nd generation Bitcoin miner, again, speaking to the people that want to work with us. And I think it's public knowledge, our Gen 1 is actually partnering with Intel. Anybody who's ever had to work with Intel knows they're a big organization, very technical, very business focused, very operationally centric. So for a small team like ourselves at Epic, we checked all those boxes to be able to engage with them. So I think that really is, I'll call it a proud moment of me working with the engineers, seeing that we could actually cross those hurdles. And then our 2nd generation, again, is working with a set of team members who are now working on even harder problems to solve. Again, this whole journey of crawl, walk, run, building up your infrastructure. Some of our other products that we're rolling out is the fleet enhancement, where now people are asking us to help them optimize the hardware for products that we did not design, which seems a little odd at times from people saying, why are you helping your competitor? But our model is really to cooperate with our clients. If they're asking us to help them solve a pain point, even if it's not your hardware and we could add value, we will certainly go do that. The interesting thing about this slide, it resonates with our investors and it resonates with the audience that are looking at from the capital markets to be part of our cap table. And the reason is, if you look at this slide, it's backwards in time, it's capability in time, and in their I'll call it economic thesis, looking at our company, they feel a lot of the risk is now taken out of the profile of investing in a company like ours. So this slide, speaking to how we execute, resonates with them. My last slide here, which is our value proposition, is kind of structured in 3 layers. You can even look at the layering. The first layering is a short-term gain, where our clients can actually see us helping them improve their fleet and their hardware. And again, it gets back to the unnatural feeling of why are you helping your competitors' products, but we're really helping our clients. And the middle one is really more of a midterm kind of a gain, where people can see that we've actually executed 1 generation, a 2nd generation, and we actually have a roadmap where we're working on our 3rd generation. And obviously the customer advantage is on the right. The top row is really about the collaboration that we do. There's all these new things about new density, new form factors, new next generation modularity, and actually also the need to actually reuse the energy that's out there or new geographies. So all these greenfield applications, which I view as a long-term side of it, are elements now that are coming to bear for us. So with respect to how the industry is evolving, more innovation is needed, more players are needed, and the value proposition of a company like Epic is out there. So we're on booth 25. The engineers are with us out there today. We thought it was important to bring them out there to meet all the people and the decision makers. And please do come out and see us at booth 25. Thank you very much.